And that brings us to our final first-round playoff game of the weekend, Saturday night kickoff, prime time on ABC. Kirk and Reese on the call. Ohio State favored by 7.5 points in Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio, where the number 9 Tennessee Volunteers come into town to take on the number 8 Ohio State Buckeyes. Again, we talk about this all the time. So many storylines heading into this matchup, coaches, hot seats, transfers, NIL, you name it, it's in this game, and the lights are brighter than ever. Brad, I'll turn it over to you because I can't wait to hear your take on this game. Thoughts on this one and who comes out on top in Columbus, Ohio?
So excited for this one, Nate. This is, and obviously with an 8-9, seeding, this is probably, if you look at this, is probably the one that is quote unquote going to be the closest. This is the one I'm anticipating the most. I think we've got some fantastic matchups, but this one's going to be really, really close. And I will say, whoever wins this one, Oregon's got a tough team waiting in the wings, depending on who wins this matchup. Nate, the big thing I want to hit on before I get to my analysis and prediction. And Ohio State fans, please, let us know in the comments what you think.
Yeah.
I know we're in December. I know that we've had signing day, the portal's open, all that. Nate, I'll be honest, I think Ryan Day's on the hot seat. They were – I went on the Ohio State message boards, at 3:30, in November there after the Michigan loss and, when they were getting pepper sprayed and everything. The Ohio State fans were very, very – they were very upset. They recognize that, look, Ryan Day is good for 11 games in the year, and I know they lost Oregon, but whenever he sees the maize and blue, it's just like something happens. And it really is. I think I get it from Ohio State's perspective. They had a chance to beat Georgia a couple of years ago, didn't do it. They've lost to Michigan. Is it 4 years in a row, I believe? Ohio State fans are fed up. They deserve better. I mean, we talked about, hey, Marcus Freeman is an alum. Marcus Freeman's got things rolling there at Notre Dame. So I'm not saying, in no way am I saying that if Ohio State loses this game that Ryan Day's out. But I do think that there's going to be some conversations if Tennessee comes in here and beats Ohio State. I think there's going to be some conversations about Ryan Day's future. So saying all that, getting into this game, Nate, this is intriguing to me because, I was watching, some analysis from, some TV personalities. You've got two good offenses. But the defenses, man, they're really, really good. And that's one thing. Josh Heupel is known as this offensive genius. But, man, I'm impressed with their defense. I really, really am. Nate, outside of really the Georgia game, and Georgia only put up 31 points, this Tennessee defense has been really, really good. James Pierce is the guy that gets all the publicity, and rightfully so. He's an elite player. But, man, they got a good defense. They attack you. They create chaos. They wreak havoc. They're very, very good. Same thing with Ohio State. We know that Ohio State is always a talented defense. Of course, Caleb Downs in the secondary. Jack Sawyer at defensive end. Nate, I'm going back and forth, man, because I can't decide, is this going to be, a 35-31, or are we looking at, a 24-21 type of game? I could see it going both ways. I'm going to split the difference. I think, both these teams are going to score in the 20s. I think they're going to put up some yards and some points, but I don't think we're going to be, I don't think we're looking at, a 1,000-yard game by either team. I will say this one to me comes down to really two factors. We saw what Michigan did a couple weeks ago with that physical running game, and I think Dylan Sampson, he's a different running back than Mullings from Michigan, but I think Dylan Sampson has got the chance, and he's capable of really taking this game over. We've seen him do it this year. He is a very, very impressive back. He's the SEC Player of the Year. Dylan Sampson's got a chance, Nate, in my mind, to take this game over. Second thing is, and I've said this all year, and this is no disrespect to this guy, I don't trust Will Howard. He's got a very, very good 1-2 punch in Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. He's got an unbelievable receiving core. Jeremiah Smith, the true freshman, so impressed with him. I'll be honest, though, Nate, I watched that Ohio State-Michigan game. I don't trust Will Howard in this situation, especially when you got James Pierce coming off the edge and you got Tennessee, with their good defense, like I said, I just, Will Howard's a good quarterback. I don't know that he's elite enough. And for that reason, I'm taking Tennessee in an upset. I think this running game gets going. I think Nico, I really, really do think he's, the light bulb's really starting to come on for him. I am curious to see. I know Tennessee's a little bit beat up with some of their receiving weapons, but I think Tennessee, like I said, with Dylan Sampson, I think he goes for at least 125. I think Nico makes some plays. I think Rocky Top's going to be played, at the end of this game. And one more quick thing before I turn over to you. Shout out to my good friend Ben McGreevy. Man, hope you have a great time, and
He's going?
good luck to your boss. He's going. He's leaving Saturday morning. Not to take anything away. We hope to have him on the show. He has his own YouTube channel, but shout out to Ben. Hope you have a great time. But
yes,
Nate, I'm gonna turn it over to you. I'm taking the Vols in this one.
Yeah, Brad, this is such an intriguing matchup, and shout out to Ben as well, great friend of ours, and we're hoping to have him on the show real soon. This matchup's hilarious to me. Josh Heupel versus Ryan Day. I mean, it's almost something out of a comical book, right? Like you got the Southern State Josh Heupel versus the Northern State Ryan Day, and they just happen to be next door neighbors. And maybe Josh Heupel cuts the grass over the property line. Ryan Day throws some trash over the fence, and the next thing you know, it's an all-out brawl, and the cops are getting called. I mean, it just seems like one of those matchups, right? It's just hilarious. And to your point, Ryan Day, for some reason, when the lights get bright, he's like a deer in the headlights. It is what it is. And you talk about Michigan, but we can talk about it with every other game. And people will point back and go, well, Ohio State would have won if they had made that kick. But look, there were plenty of opportunities to beat Georgia in that game, and Ryan Day blew it. Like, some of the play calls in that game were pitiful. And it's shocking. Another thing I want to mention too, Brad, is you talked about Ryan Day in the hot seat. I've heard from legitimate sources that yes, he is on the hot seat. And I gotta be honest with you, if I'm on the staff if I'm on the administration at Ohio State, he's gone if he loses this game. This program is built to win 10 or 11 games regardless of who's coaching. We saw Urban Meyer do it. We saw Ryan Day do it. And I got to be honest with you, Ryan Day, he might be a good recruiter. He might be good at something, this or that, but he's not good at winning big games. And at a university like Ohio State, you got to be able to win big games. I've heard rumors also that a guy like Mike Vrabel might be interested in the Ohio State job. So that's something to keep an eye out. If they move on from Ryan Day, you might get a defensive-minded guy in there like Mike Vrabel. I've also heard Ryan Day might jump to the NFL to go coach for the Bears. I've also heard Mike Vrabel might go to the Bears. So I don't know what's going to happen. But what I do know is Ohio State's Ryan Day is on the hot seat. You can put that on the ticker tape. It's official. Like, if Ryan Day loses this game, he's out the door. You cannot spend $20 million on a team and not produce at least one playoff win. It's inexcusable, and not a Big Ten championship game. And you lose to your arch rival in Michigan. It's just for 4 years straight. It's embarrassing. And I get it. I've heard people say Ryan Day's a great guy. That's great. But if we wanted to please everyone, Brad, we'd sell ice cream for a living. But we're not doing that, okay? So we're here to win football games. As far as this game goes, I can't believe I'm saying this too, Brad. Tennessee's got the better running game. I cannot believe at the end of the year that I'm saying that. With Judkins and Travion Henderson in the backfield for Ohio State, they have highly underperformed. Highly. Another thing I want to mention too, it's shocking to say this, but I think Tennessee's got the better quarterback. And that's crazy to talk about too. When you think about the C.J. Strouds, you think about just the Braxton Millers, like everyone that's come before. Ohio State's been known for its quarterbacks year in and year out. Now, they haven't played well in the NFL except for C.J. Stroud, but collegiately, Ohio State has produced some really, really good quarterbacks. And to see Will Howard, he got benched at Kansas State, right, which was a red flag to begin with. Then you bring him to Ohio State, and you're like, okay, what can Chip Kelly do with him? Electric offense, dynamic receivers, big backfield, and yet he's still struggling. I don't get it. You have everything in place to succeed, and he still can't get it done. And that's very worrisome heading into Saturday night. Tennessee fans are going to travel. I think you're going to see a 60-40 spread, maybe 60 Ohio State, 40% Tennessee fans there. It's going to be like a neutral site game. It's going to be an electric atmosphere, no doubt about it. What's going to come into play for me is the Buckeyes defense. How are they going to show up? Can they force Nico to get under pressure? Kind of like we talked about in the last game with Cade Klubnik at Clemson, Texas's ability to keep Cade Klubnik on his toes. They got to do that with Nico because Nico, to me, he's progressed. He's gotten better, but I still think he needs another year under his belt to fully grasp what they're trying to do at Tennessee under Josh Heupel because it's a very fast-paced, fast-moving offense. Are they going to utilize that to their strength and their benefit against the Ohio State defense and tire them out? And to your point, Brad, and I've heard it from multiple media sites too, Tennessee's defense is built like a Big Ten team. And, yeah, Georgia played really well and we beat them. And I say we because we're both Georgia fans by heart. But Georgia beat them fair and square. I have to here's the thing, Brad. Defense travels, right? Nico's going to be put in some situations. I would assume that Nico throws 1 or 2 interceptions. I would go ahead and lay that out there. He's going to make mistakes. That's okay. How well is your defense going to play? That's going to be the difference. Can you get Will Howard pressure? Can you keep that run game locked into the box? If they can limit the run game, we talked about this with Clemson. If Texas can stop the run game against Clemson. If Tennessee can stop the run game against Ohio State and force Will Howard in these passing situations, he's not going to deliver, which is shocking because they have some of the best wide receivers in all the nation. They've got to get that fixed next year, no doubt about it. Whether it's with Ryan Day or with a new coach, they've got to get the quarterback situated. But I'm going to have to agree with you, Brad. I'm going to take the Tennessee Vols in an upset as well. I don't trust Will Howard. I haven't trusted him all year. And when the pressure gets high, Ryan Day and Will Howard look like deer in the headlights. They just don't know what they're doing. Maybe we get shocked on Saturday night. Maybe this is Ohio State's best game of the year, best game of Ryan Day's tenure. But when those Tennessee Vols come into town, it's going to be Rocky Top all night long. Give me the Tennessee Vols to win Saturday night in Columbus, Ohio. Let us know down in the comments who you think is going to come out on top between these two powerhouse programs, between the Tennessee Vols and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Be sure to subscribe, like this video, and share it with your friends as it really helps our subscription grow. We're excited to have you on for another week next week where we'll break down the second round of college football playoffs. We'll see you next time. It's time to break the huddle.